Yeah, I gotta just like force always into that more up here sound rather than out of my mouth so much.
No, don't use the word force. Force is a bad word. Like, that thought process is what's leading him to the end sound that is so painfully strained. Hey, if you haven't seen the first 2 videos, because this is number 3 in this series, please go back, check that out. I'll leave the cards right here to see the other 2.
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me.
We're going to jump straight in to part 3 of this series, Tristan Paredes' full singing lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. Now go,
Interesting. So did you hear there how Tristan did a staccato? Like doing a staccato in that falsetto. Getting his vocal cords to move very quickly there. The student wasn't able to do that. That's because there's some lumbering big muscles that aren't able to move that quickly. You have to only be using the inner muscles of the larynx to be able to do that quickly.
Yeah, that was good. That's good.
Okay.
There you go.
There, you're starting to get
That's
it.
more on the front of your face.
Yep.
So there you're starting to get that resonance without necessarily raising the larynx and squeezing on the sound too much.
Yeah, it's less
Yeah,
more up here.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's where you do that into.
Okay. So
That's a lot better.
That is a lot better. It's still not 100% there, and, obviously this is a work in progress, so you wouldn't expect it to be there in one lesson, but that is very much moving in the correct direction. If you're interested in getting a free lesson with me, please check out the link right here.
cool.
And that's
And I find
go ahead. Yeah,
what was that?
You're fine. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say adding that little bit of like end sound into it helps too.
Yeah.
With the more
Yeah, to
up
get
here sound.
yeah. It puts it more in your nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also exercises
Really works.
that are like if you go.
So there when he was imitating what he's saying, oh yeah, that works really well, that one wasn't quite there. So it's about repetition, building that into your muscle memory so that every time you're making that sound, you're going back to that same sound.
Like
Yeah.
Not quite. No. Very different than what Tristan just did. He is doing it with a whole bunch of tension in the throat.
It's like nga.
Do you hear how much, there's so much tongue tension, throat tension? It's like choke that. He's got to learn how to do an NG. Just relaxed.
Keep it on an nga. It's going a little bit nga.
Yes, yeah, it's falling back. But the reason why it's falling back, and this is part of why you need to understand the reason behind some of these things, the reason it's falling back in his throat is because he's tensing the muscles. If you would let them release, you would find that forward placement.
We want to keep in the same spot.
Okay.
No, almost.
It's better.
You gotta keep flowing with the airflow. That's what he's holding. He's holding back that airflow.
Better. Try. Your sound really likes to go in your mouth.
What he was just getting him to do, try. That would have helped. So deadening the face, deadening the tongue, letting everything relax. Almost like you're dead. That is the approach that will get his voice to where Tristan's is.
You go. You like to do that.
That's probably from practicing from singing in the car so long and just yelling everything.
That makes sense.
It comes from yelling everything, not necessarily practicing everything in the car. That's not necessarily going to give you problems, but yelling everything for sure is going to give you problems.
Bad habits, holy.
That's okay. You're doing really really good. You had it. It's tough because there's an extra space that you can get into where it's just like that just makes you can just get the notes super easy, and then that at least helps you because then you're like, oh, that's a. I think we talked about that last week a little bit. You have that starting point, and then you push on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
we did.
yeah.
Exactly.
Remember now. Yeah.
Yep.
That's just
and
go ahead.
Okay, so it seems like this is definitely not their first lesson together. So he's building off of some of the things that they did in the last lesson. And I've totally been there. You sometimes forget some of the things that you worked on in previous lessons. And so you just kind of have to roll with what you have today. But it seems like it's coming back to him that, oh, we already worked, like this is a theme that keeps on coming up in our lessons.
I can't remember what I was going to say. What were you saying?
Oh, I don't remember. We just want to come up with strategies to find it.
Yeah.
And keep practicing with it. And just keep, because we're going to keep losing it and then trying to find your way back to it. It's just going to it'll be this repeating thing.
Yeah, I got to just like force always into that more up here sound rather than out of my mouth so much.
No, don't use the word force. Force is a bad word. Like, that thought process is what's leading him to the end sound that is so painfully strained. Thinking, forcing it up here is going to give you that, because I'm forcing it into that place, where everything like gets so tight in the throat. Don't think of forcing it. Think of releasing it into that place. Finding that release, that airflow.
Yeah.
And like with the verse, with that verse part, I really tried to like make it as nasal as possible, and then it kind of ended up not like kind of in the middle, like you said.
Yeah.
It wasn't that nasal. It actually.
So it's not necessarily about being so nasal. It's just about releasing that tension. So he can get a very nasal sound with a ton of tension, and he's not going to be at a good place. So you got to find that sound that you're looking for without that tension. That's the key aspect to the whole puzzle.
Ended up like at the sound I wanted it to, even though I was trying to, because I always want to push for my mouth so much.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it ended up pretty good.
We can try. What was I thinking here? Oh, okay. So can you make your belly just like really, really, like chubby and relaxed?
Okay.
Don't.
Okay, so now Tristan's trying a new approach. They've kind of attacked it from the perspective released as much as possible. Now we're going to get him to release his stomach muscles a little bit more. An interesting change of pace here. Let's see how it goes.
Don't push anything from it at all. Keep it on your all here and go.
Oh, wow. What a difference. Wow. Okay, so his abs were definitely clenching. It's a mix of muscles that are all kind of interconnected. As soon as he got him to release that, it released the throat.
That's the sound.
Okay.
You do a lot of... which is okay. The more you tend to push from here, the more it tends to get mouthy. Like if I go... Ho! As opposed to...
Yeah.
So what Tristan demonstrated at first is something that is more from the solar plexus. So there he was clenching more of his solar plexus, like your abs, what you would call your like six pack. That is where he was clenching the first time. The second time he released that, but allowed his lower abs right around your belt line and his pelvic floor to engage much more. That is where your support comes from, not from the solar plexus. Tightening the solar plexus is really going to lock up the throat, whereas tightening the lower abs doesn't necessarily lock up the throat. So I can keep my upper abs nice and released, and I can keep my lower abs nice and tight, and I can still talk nice and relaxed.
Wow, that's exactly what I do.
Okay,
I
cool.
always tense up a lot when I sing, and I really like. It's even on those like F4s in the chorus. It's like, really tense when I do them.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so he's recognizing that there's a lot of tension. See, that's the first step, is because a lot of students don't even realize that they're tensing so hard on the note. And being able to recognize that and having that understanding is step number one. Now you realize, what's it like when I'm tensing? What's it like when I'm released? What's it like when I'm tensing? What's it like when I'm released? And then you can always get back to that released placement if you're able to find that difference. And so right now what I would do, now that he found that released place, I would have him go back to the old one. Go back to the old way, feel out the old way, and now do the new way again. And doing that back and forth gives you a clear control over those muscles that before were very subconscious. You're bringing your conscious mind into the ability to make those changes. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, and I'm going to have part 4 out coming soon. If you want to check out more videos like this, check this one out. You're gonna like it.